Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So in today's edition of Pure Rage, I'm just warning you now, as the Pure Rage should have already warned you, this actually makes me want to scream into a pillow, break things.
I've contained my rage for as long as possible, but I shall unleash my fury upon you like the crashing of 1,000 waves! Begone, vile man! Begone from me!
Punch walls, it just truly releases any type of rage I've had stored in my body, which is a lot. This story is fucking insane. These two brothers, Aaron and P.T. Schwartz, got busted for raping their little sister repeatedly when she was 12 years old. They were arrested in June after being accused of repeatedly raping their underage sister, who was 12 years old when the attacks started. Authorities first became aware of the sexual assault. Now this is where it gets drastically worse. When the sister became pregnant by one of the brothers, the County Citizen reports the brothers were arrested and Petey and Aaron each allegedly admitted to having sex with the girl 6 times over the past year, local station KOLR reports. I don't know why they've kind of used rape and having sex interchangeably, because it is rape. They had it right the first time, so that it should be corrected to they admitted to raping her 6 times. Their 2 younger brothers, both minors, also allegedly had sex with the sister. Again, raped the sister. This 12-year-old was raped by 4 of her brothers. The other 2 were minors, but nonetheless, it's so gross. Also because, like, I know that not every family is perfect and so on and so forth, but home should be a place of comfort, a place where you feel safe. Ideally speaking, like I said, it's not always the case, but to have your own family do that to you, I always find it so, I don't even know what term, like disgusting doesn't seem like it encapsulates the full thing. Every rape is terrible, obviously, but it's like, imagine a 12-year-old not being able to feel safe at home. Like, that's heartbreaking. And now on top of that, being pregnant with a child of one of her brothers. This is where it gets even more eerie and fucked up. When asked whether he'd do it again, Aaron told investigators not to a little one like that, according to a probable cause statement obtained by Oxygen.com. Like, is that not one of the most alarming things to hear? Like, even if they said no, I wouldn't believe it, but to be so just open of like, no, not to like a young one like that, but maybe another one, as if what you're doing isn't immoral, illegal, and overall just potentially life-ruining, definitely abusive, definitely gonna give someone horrible trauma, and you're just talking about it like you're talking about your favorite color. Like, the casual nature of this response truly is alarming to me. The 13-year-old gave birth in early September, County Prosecutor Ben Bergstresser told the County Citizen. The 2 men were initially released on a $100,000 bond and forbidden from coming near their sister or other children, KOLR reports. They pleaded not guilty at an arraignment July 9th. The fact that they were released at all, the fact that they were released is surreal to me, because it's clear and noted that they're a danger towards children, and simply being like, oh yeah, don't go near kids. Do you think that's gonna stop someone who's like, oh, I wouldn't do it to a little one like that again, or whatever he verbatim said? They showed no real sign of regret, and even if they did, that wouldn't really change my mind. But to just let them free on a $100,000 bond, I mean, it's clear that they have no consideration for the well-being of children, and just telling them, oh, don't go near children or your sister. Like, do you think they're gonna care about that? Like, they didn't even respect their sister. They abused her, so why in the world would they respect what some judge says. And I'm also very curious as to how a judge could come to such a conclusion. However, before further court proceedings began, September 8th, the brothers reached a plea agreement with Bergstresser, the County Citizen reports, in exchange for pleading guilty to 2 counts of child molestation apiece. Aaron and Petey were each given suspended prison sentences totaling 15 years. Do you see where this is going to get even worse? Instead of going to prison, the 2 men will spend the next 5 years on probation, must complete the Missouri Sex Offender Treatment Program, and perform 100 hours of community service in the next year, the County Citizen reports. The level of just fuckery here is unbelievable. Like, the fact that they admitted to raping their sister multiple times to the point where she was pregnant and had their child, and they're not going to prison. Like, no sentence whatsoever. The, meager 5 years of probation, the sex offender treatment program, and 100 hours of community service. Like, are you kidding me? No, that's unacceptable. I don't know how you can come to that conclusion when you have offenders that are obviously a danger to children. I don't know how they got to this conclusion, but it makes me suspicious as to the judge and like their whole stance, because I don't think most people would agree that this is a just sentence. They must each also write an apology letter to their community within 30 days and pay $250 to the Law Enforcement Restitution Fund, according to the newspaper. Okay, now this is going into some real clownery, because like writing an apology to their community, like what about an apology to the sister? Not that it fixes anything, not that she should forgive them anyway, but an apology to the community. It's like one person was abused here, not the entire community. And that makes it sound like they're apologizing for making the community look bad as opposed to apologizing for what they did repeatedly. All of this is backwards. All of this is backwards. And $250. Okay. What is that gonna do, honestly? Bergstresser expressed disappointment about this ruling in an interview with the Missouri outlet KY3. But despite the Schwartz's alleged confessions to detectives, he said he didn't have enough evidence to push for a harsher conviction. They got their sister pregnant through raping her. Like, what other evidence, what paperwork are you looking for? Makes no sense. It makes no sense. My head hurts. This is so disgusting and such a failure to the sister. Such a failure. I can't rely on something that was said or may have not been said at a different time. I can't present a piece of paper, well, here it is, now you have to convict him, Bergstresser said. He told the County Citizen that Aaron and Petey would have been eaten alive in the state prison system, as they were very immature relative to their respective ages. Okay, and? So are we gonna care more about the perpetrators, about these 2 abusers? We're gonna care more about how they're gonna be treated in prison, as opposed to actually getting justice and safety for this little girl. Like, we're fully just gonna ignore her well-being. We're gonna fully ignore the justice she should be served, and we're just gonna worry about how they'd fare in the prison. That shouldn't even be on the list of priorities, but if you're that concerned, throw them into solitary, don't put them in Gen Pop if you're that concerned. But frankly, that is such a non-issue in the greater scope of this case, in my opinion. Bergstresser also added that the brothers had already received a very severe punishment within the local Amish community, a community reluctant to accept non-Amish court authority. A very severe punishment. Bro, there was no severity of punishment here. Like, I don't know what the Amish community punishment was, but the fact that they're not in prison to me says it wasn't severe. Like, nowhere near severe. It really was the lightest slap on the wrist, and that's all there is to it. I'm concerned about the well-being of the little sister. Is the court going to provide therapy? Like, what's going to happen to her? Because here it's all focused on them, and all the focus on them is like very, very minor. Apparently there's an update though that says that the prosecuting attorney, Ben Bergstresser, has asked a judge to revoke the probation for Aaron and Petey Schwartz, alleging they violated an order to stay away from the minor sister they admitted sexually assaulting. So it's almost like, had you sent them to prison, this wouldn't have occurred. The sister wouldn't have had to deal with them at all, see them, be around them, and everything would overall be better, at least for her and for their family, because God knows who else they may assault in the future at this point.
So that's where that article ended, the one from Oxygen.com. Now, then, looking at another article that is more recent and that is actually updated with what occurred next, here it says that the Missouri judge revokes probation and sends both of the Schwartz brothers to prison for child molestation, and it also says that they will be serving 15 years in the Missouri Department of Corrections. The issue, in my opinion, which is what I stated before, is that prison should have been directly the result. It shouldn't have been in result of violation or in result of public backlash. They shouldn't have been on probation in the first place. Prison should have been the direct action. So while this is good that they are going to prison, I just wonder, what if they had violated their probation and nobody found out? Or what if they had caused other crimes against children, which clearly they had a propensity to do? Kind of seems like it was just left to fate, and thankfully they were caught violating their probation, but again, they could have not been caught, they could have gone on doing what they were doing, and it's clear that they're dangerous towards children, so I don't understand why they weren't just directly sent to prison.
This should be surprising, but at this point I'm not even surprised, because we've seen time and time again, especially cases with minors, whether they're male, female, or anything else, we've seen that it's not taken as seriously as it should be, and it's always mind-boggling, because the question of consent just is, we have the answer, they can't consent, so automatically the crime is there, and yet a lot of the times I feel like the justice system or the courts treat it like it's some he said, she said, even when there is direct evidence here, like the fact that the 12-year-old got pregnant. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know how much time you think they should get, whether you think the probation is even useful in any which way, especially now that they've already apparently broken it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and let's get right into the fan art.